Yo, what is up, guys? Noetika here. Today I'm going to show you guys my 3 favorite techniques to make glitches. So I'm going to show you how to turn a sine wave into something like this. How we can turn a sample into something like this. Oh. And then how we can take drum loops and other types of loops and turn them into something like this. And we'll stick with all Ableton stock on these, but then at the end I'll show you some plugins that I also like using to create glitches. So let's do this first one. I'm going to delete everything here. And first we're going to take an operator, and we want it just to be a sine wave. So starting off, we just have something like this, just a basic sine wave. And we're going to want to go and turn this down here to fixed. So now we can change the frequency of that sine wave and just kind of go through the whole frequency spectrum, regardless of what note we're hitting. So what we want to do is take an LFO from Ableton, and we want it to be on random, and we'll go ahead and map this to the frequency. So now we have something like this. If we speed up the rate here, we kind of get this bloopy, glitchy type sound. Okay, so next thing I like to do is take another LFO and put it on random and apply that to the rate of this random LFO. And sometimes I like the range to stay kind of high, because I kind of like that faster pace pitch change to get that kind of bloopy, glitchy sound. Make it go even faster. There we go. So now what we can do is we can saturate this a bunch to add some more frequencies. And then one of the keys, I think, with cool glitch sounds is a bunch of OTT. So if we put a bunch of OTT after this and maybe do like 3 of them, these cool, clean glitch sounds. And now what we can do is set up a channel, put it on resampling, and record. And while we record, we can mess with things like the sine, LFO, filtering. We can try a different shape. Change the rate here. And it's going to be a lot of, you'll get a lot of crap, but you go ahead and sift through the long sample that you have and pick the ones you like. Or you could save the whole thing as one big mud pie. So that's technique 1. That's probably my favorite. And then technique 2 here, we can take any type of sample, preferably a bass sound. I'm going to go ahead and delete all this. I'll delete the sample too. So let's go ahead and find a bass sound. I'm going to find something kind of crunchy. There we go. That can work good. And what we're going to want to do is go into the clip editor here. And we're going to want to turn warping on. And if we put it on texture mode, we could usually get cooler results here. But the trick is we want to put this on clip transposition. And now we have this window to affect the pitch of the sample. And if we hit B on our keyboard or simply click up here on this little pencil guy, we can draw these kind of crazy step shapes like that. And now it creates this kind of glitch effect. So originally we have this. And if we draw a crazy shape, we could kind of get a bunch of different glitch sounds. And then if we mess with the grain size, or even stretch the sample more, you get these interesting kind of glitchy sounds. And then again, we'll go ahead and take OTT and just do a few of them on here and really push the sound, bring out those weird artifacts that we want. So that's my second favorite. I guess I like all of these techniques. That one's really fun when you're writing a song and you just want to like get a quick glitch. You could take one of the samples and go ahead and mess around with that shape. And as you can see, every different shape we make within, let's go back to this, within the transposition is going to make us, oh, like that one's really cool. That'd be a super good fill. So just go ahead and go crazy with the shape there. There's really no rules. So then the next technique I like is we can take some type of sample loop. Drums are really fun to mess with here. I'm going to go ahead and delete all this stuff. And we're going to want to put a limiter on here because we're really going to push things and we don't want to destroy our speakers completely. So let's bring this back to its original tempo. So we have this. And the first thing I'm going to do is take an EQ, and we want to boost this low end and kind of create like an over-the-top distortion. And if we boost that low end into a saturator, we want this before the limiter because we want the limiter to catch any peaks. And if we boost that low end into an aggressive saturator, we'll already get some interesting kind of artifacts. So then the next thing we can do is we can take an EQ, maybe before the saturator actually, and we could put some random LFOs on some peaks and get some movement going in this filter. Something like this. Let me put it on random, and we're going to turn smooth up to kind of get it to just wiggle around, if you will. And we could do that with some peaks. We could do that with some notches as well. So let's get another LFO on here and map this to the frequency of this notch. And maybe we'll keep this one on step randomization and turn the rate up. The key to glitches is really just kind of chaotic randomness going on the frequencies, whether it's pitching the frequencies or boosting and cutting them. And then using things like saturation and OTT to kind of destroy the sound and bring out more artifacts. So let's see what we got now. It's pretty cool, but it still just sounds kind of like a drum beat. So what I'll do is I'll stretch this sample and maybe put it on texture mode. Texture is great for kind of glitchy sound. Nice. And then let's take some OTTs and throw this after the saturator to kind of pull up those artifacts. Oh yeah. And then we could go ahead and try some other sounds in here. So let's maybe take a bass loop. Let's maybe take like a Virtual Riot one. That one's pretty cool. Let's see what this sounds like. Ooh. Oh, like right at the end. That's kind of a cool kind of fill or glitch. And the same thing as this first technique, we could just set up a resampling channel and record and mess around with things. So maybe stretch the sample. Cool. So those are my 3 techniques for making glitches, just using Ableton stock. But another thing we could do is, say we wanted to turn this sample into a glitch. There's some cool third-party plugins we can use. The first one is called Glitch. It does exactly what it's called. So if we type in glitch, VST, and we just throw this on anything, it's gonna give us instant glitches. So this is a really fun plugin to use. I believe there's a randomization. Yeah, so if we hit random here, random here, We could do random presets. And again, we could just set up a channel to resample this stuff as we record, or as we mess with it. Hit random. Okay, so that's a cool plugin for that. The next one I like is Portal. So if we take Portal, we could go in here and go to some of the presets. We could go to glitchy and go through these. You can mess around with the settings. Okay, so that's a cool one. And then the other one I like is Rift. Good old faithful. Super useful for a bunch of things. And again, we could go in here and pick out the particle delays are pretty cool. Chop and stutter. Data patterns sound pretty cool for glitchy stuff. And then we could also use these in combo with each other. So I could take Rift, maybe a few OTTs, and maybe glitch as well. And let's see where that gets us. Ooh. Pretty cool. Let's try this on just the sine wave in operator. Let's see what that sounds like. So if I take if I take Rift, glitch, and a few OTTs and just throw it on a sine wave, let's see what we get there. Could be interesting. Oh yeah, that was cool. Okay, so yeah, those are my techniques for making glitches. Super fun because there's really no rules. You could just destroy the sound and go for a really long time and just pick out the good ones in the end. So as usual, I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments what kind of videos you guys want to see next. I think next will be a track from scratch video, and then I'm going to do a video, or I'm going to drop a sound pack, so a bunch of bass sounds and like a sample pack as well for you guys. So expect those in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Peace.